You want to prepare water?
Sure.
So you about to go live on your phone?
Yeah, I'm already live.
So let me. Oh, okay, maybe I can just share you. That might be easier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see it.
All right, we got 30 seconds.
Put this on.
Oh yeah, now also I seen your post about LinkedIn. Man, that's like Facebook, just the business business.
That's what I hear, and I need to get on it.
And it's you meet some good man people that like CEOs, all kinds of stuff you meet on there, and it's crazy.
There you are.
It's crazy. You were saying, you was like, who can I pay to do my LinkedIn? Because it takes a lot of your day, because it's like building your Facebook all over again.
Right.
All right.
Sweet and salty. I just took what they gave me.
Oh, that's great.
I need a Pikachu. Don't forget the intro.
You got the intro on the file, right?
Yeah. Man, I'm crazy.
I'm gonna let the song play out there, and we're gonna come in so I can get all this up. It wants to load.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, but you're more than welcome to come to the grand opening when we have it. Cause
was there a date set for it already?
March 7th.
I think I looked, because I have my daughter every other weekend, so that's always the thing. If it falls on a weekend, I have my daughter. Oh, March. You said March 7th?
March 7th.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be in St. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did see that you guys are looking for podcasts.
Yes.
I wanted to know more about that, but we can talk about it after.
Definitely. What's going on, Justin? What's up, Lady Fluent? What's up, Marcus Sykes? How everybody doing today? Hope everybody's staying warm.
Right here, but I'm not trying to. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
All right. We can do it like, you know. All right, so I'm put it.
So I have directions to get home.
You can use this too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I brought mine, but mine is only horizontal. I can't do the vertical. I'm not as fancy. Yes. Now I wish I had more. We don't have an extension cord or a closer plug.
Nah. If you want to move it right there, you can.
Yeah, it's up to you. Because I got a little intro and stuff, and if you want to move right there,
Intro's playing now. We got like 5 seconds.
Hmm?
We got a little bit more until the intro's done.
Because it'll be these headphones if you do.
Okay.
All right. Gonna go to you. 5, 4.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Fluent Radio. I am your host, Mr. Fluent himself. Yeah, and I'm feeling good today. It's snowing outside this and third, and yeah, I'm still staying warm. Today, y'all, I'm rocking my my cold blue Jordan 4s, and I'm feeling pretty dope today. Just a quick reminder. Actually, there is a Mother's Day isn't just happening in May. You can register at Eventbrite, or you can just hit up Catherine McNeil, and then she can point you in the right directions. So you can, so you can attend that. That's actually That's actually going to be in October. And then we also have another event by her. It's Career Tips and Topics presents What Employers Want. That's going to be February 29th on a Saturday, 11:30 a.m. You can also go to Eventbrite. Just go to the Chicago Public Library, 3353 West 13th Street, Chicago, Illinois. Wham, wham, wham. You know what it is. But yeah, I've been feeling great today, y'all. I've been feeling great, feeling straight. And I have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guest not here, here today. And I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hey y'all, what's going on? My name is Aleida. I'm so excited to be here.
It's pretty dope. We playing a little pity pack and stuff, but y'all, we made it happen. We made it happen. So tell everyone about you.
What I do. So I am a soul prosperity coach. I am the founder of the Best You Network, which I recently started officially a few weeks ago. It's a community where I help support women prosper from the inside out. And so I went through an emotionally abusive marriage. And so I'm just really passionate about helping women become their best selves, cultivate self-love, grow in their identity, and just really find out why they're here on this earth.
Right.
So that's what I do. I currently also have a blog, so I'm a writer.
Right.
I have a free guide where I help women find themselves. That's what it's called, How to Find Yourself. I also wrote an ebook back in 2014. So yeah, that's what I do.
Definitely. So does that? Okay. So how did this? Well, obviously I know where it actually began.
Yeah.
But how did it begin? Did it begin? Did it something that you wanted to just passionate about just all your life, or it kind of stemmed from your marriage?
So, you know what? All my life, I actually was asking. Well, early on in my life, I was always asking myself, why am I here? What is my purpose? I had like a lot of low self-esteem growing up. And so I really struggled with identity. So I didn't really figure it out. Like I went through college. I went ahead and got my master's degree, still not knowing what I wanted to do with my life. But things really took a spin when I got serious with my faith.
Right.
And so I started growing and just becoming more of who I am after that point. But when I got married and went through that marriage and got out of that marriage, which again was an emotionally abusive marriage, that's when things really started to get clear for me, when I started going through my own healing process.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. Now, as far as what has been your biggest, I don't want to say struggle because it sounds negative, but what has been your biggest struggle as in trying to, as far as like does it? Because first you have to heal within yourself first,
Right?
Before you can actually start healing others.
Right.
Okay, so what has been your biggest struggle with
The healing process? Yeah. I think I say this all the time. Recognition is 90% of healing.
Right.
And so I think the biggest struggle is actually recognizing that there is a problem, or recognizing that you need healing, or that there's areas in your life that you need to dig deeper in. So for me, when I got divorced, I was 32 years old. And I didn't realize how things were still affecting me from being a little child. I'm, 9 years old in my room, or things that happened in my household that was still affecting me 30 years later, 20 something years later. So I think the biggest struggle is actually recognizing that I had a problem. Because when I was actually in the marriage, when I was married, somebody could have asked me and I would be like, oh, okay, everything's fine.
Right.
Yeah. You're kind of
Brush
numb.
it off,
Yeah, you brush it off. And so, or you're just passive, because when you grow up in a dysfunctional environment, sometimes things seem normal to you.
Right.
So when I was in my marriage, it just like, okay, this is marriage, this is life, And so when I got out of it and actually got intentional about my healing process, it was actually me having to accept, there's some issues and there's some things that I need to look on personally within myself. So that was probably the most challenging thing, to actually even realize that I had a problem.
Right, and just like what you just said, it's like, because in Black households we grow up like certain things are just normal.
Yep.
Like it's the normacy. Like
Yep.
It's certain things are just so normal, and then you don't realize how unnormal it is until you get older, until you start having kids and you get married. Then you're like, well,
Right.
this is because just like even with how people say with mental health,
Mm, I love it. I love that topic.
it's crazy. It's crazy because like a lot of people are just blaming on, oh, it's just the way this person was raised, da, 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 da,
Hmm.
da, but not knowing that like mental health was probably was an issue way back in the day. They
Yeah.
just didn't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Not that it's everybody is unique in their own way. Let me say
Right.
that. Um, and it was what I'm having a trouble with, and is there are certain things as sometimes some people have sometimes some people have actually have like mental health issues,
Right.
and then some people don't have it but blaming it on, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's all self-awareness.
Yeah.
Just, being self-aware with our issues. And sometimes things are like stereotyped, or like people don't really seek clarity on what things are. So for me, I think I had a lot of misconceptions about like mental health, or just emotional intelligence and social intelligence and all of that. I had a lot of misconceptions because I think a lot of people think you're crazy if you talk to a therapist or go to a counselor.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case. Like sometimes it's just, again, just unhealthy generational cycles of dysfunction that is passed down and people are unaware of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It just so I really believe like sometimes it just takes the smallest thing and it just kind of like unlocks that trauma from,
Yeah.
because you don't know how, because man, I remember being around a whole bunch of people, when I was growing up, and then you don't really like certain. Sometimes I just be in my mind. I just be thinking and stuff like, when I was growing up, my mom was raising me, and just it like hit me. Well, I don't remember doing that, but it's just something. It was just a
Your
memory.
subconscious
Yeah,
mind. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I
in your
remember that when I was
subconscious.
younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, man, I had to be like 4 or 5, but you remember it like it was
Yeah.
like last year. Like, man, I remember.
When it gets unlocked and open, it's crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you. So when I got intentional about my healing process, I did a lot of different things. And so initially, when I went to so when me and my ex, he asked for a divorce. He actually chose to leave the marriage, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? You're not gonna just leave without it. It didn't make sense at the time, and I was like, maybe we should try to go to a counseling. He was a counselor, and actually a pastor, so he was like, I don't want to, But in order to appease me to get out of the marriage, there's a whole backstory,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, we went to a well-known relationship expert in Chicago.
Right.
And after that session is when I actually realized, she kind of dropped it after, off record, that I was in a narcissistic, emotionally abusive marriage. But that's when I realized, like, okay, I need to, see why I allowed myself to be in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I first went to her. So I first went to her, did but she didn't take insurance, so it was out of pocket. I was like, well, okay, I'm not gonna stick with this.
Yeah, we ain't going.
We ain't going, right?
We ain't going.
And so then I went through my insurance and I went to a counselor, and it was like just talk therapy, cognitive therapy, and that was good. It's kind of, you're just talking it out, kind of venting, and that was good. But really, what unlocked things for me and what really opened me up is when I went to an inner healing prayer minister. Okay, and she unlocked some stuff, and there was I remember a moment. We're in my counseling session with her, and I felt like I was a 9-year-old little girl. Like, I felt like I was in that moment. Like, it was so surreal for me. Like, I'm just sitting there crying. All of the pain that I felt just came surfacing up, and I'm crying like a little baby. And so it is powerful how the body works, how the soul, the mind, everything just works together when you have those moments of healing. Yeah.
Right, and because definitely because I remember when I was in a bad relationship, and that one of the perks about one of the job I had at the time, um, it allowed you to go to a counselor, like have three sessions.
Okay.
And I don't know if we went to all three of them, but I think we went to all three of them. The the plus about going to someone, like going to a counselor or a therapist, is it's a person that don't know you and don't know the other person. It's just a listening ear. And then when they start like breaking all this stuff down, this is on the third. It's like because a biggest problem I think just that black folks have is communication.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can have a third person like me and her trying to communicate, it was like
Yeah,
it
just
was,
two
it was
different
just
wavelengths.
yeah, we trying to communicate because you have your way you were raised, and then
Yeah.
I have the way I was raised.
Right.
You was raised on conditional love, I was raised on unconditional love, and trying to raise kids like
Yeah.
it won't, because I see love differently than you see love.
And I feel like it was the flip in my situation.
Mm,
The love felt very conditional on his end,
mm,
and for me, I was seeking love. I was seeking unconditional love, but that's not what I got.
yeah.
And yeah, he chose to walk away. I mean, so I don't know if you know about narcissism.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that's what there that type of relationship was. It was a narcissistic relationship, and so clinically what I would be defined as is like a codependent. And so I was the one like always seeking love. Like I will give if you just give me a little bit of love. And then the narcissistic person would be more of just give me.
Mm-hmm.
And in order, it's both toxic. Both ends is kind of toxic. Like
Right.
I'm empty and I'm like trying to seek love. He's empty too, and he's trying to take love. And so that's what the relationship was. And it was just like you said, you just missing wavelengths, and nobody's really, because you can't seek fulfillment or love or happiness outside of yourself to start with. Nobody can like be your God, or nobody can fix you. And so I think it was just an unhealthy starting point in general.
Yeah, because that's how I was. My relationship it was really toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know how to argue. I learned real fast, but I didn't know how to argue, and it was one of those things. I was like, and then once it was done, what made my situation hard is because there are kids involved in it.
Yeah.
But once I was like done, boom, done. Like I took like a long time just to know me. Like to separate, like you have to take that time. Like some people go from relationship to relationship, and you just tainting everybody, because sometimes you are the problem.
Yes.
And some people don't say me. Everybody is so easy to point at the other person.
Yeah.
And my thing was like I said, let me take some time for me.
Yeah.
Let me take some time for me to know what my wants are and what my
Yeah.
needs are. And once you can figure that out, and then and just be happy just inside, like
Just in
because
yourself.
if anybody comes into my life, and you leave, it's gonna hurt, but I am still gonna be happy
Right.
at the end of the day.
So I realized a root to my problem was a lack of self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, that's why I'm so passionate now about helping other women find themselves, because I didn't know who I was.
Right.
I lost myself in that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It just, like I said, I was constantly trying to give in order to, receive a little bit of love back. And so I was just doing whatever he needed, whatever he wanted. And life was kind of revolved around him and his ministry, and everything I needed and desired was kind of like whatever. And so by the time I got out of it, I was like, wait a minute, who am I? Who is Aleida?
Right, right.
And it's so easy to lose yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
people can lose themselves in a lot of different ways. Relationship is just one of them. But I had to really, and I still am, taking that time to really discover who I am.
Right.
And just grow in self-love, because it was a lack of self-love there for me. Just doing things that I'm passionate about. That's why I'm going all in with this endeavor with the Best You Network.
Mm-hmm.
And just really focusing on my own mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, all of that health. And so, yeah. And like now I'm getting to the place where I don't need to be in a relationship to be happy.
Right.
I am happy within myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that time comes again and I get into another relationship, that's a bonus. Right. So
yeah. How did it's kind of obvious, but how did you come up with the Best You? Is that something that kind of you just sleeping is like, there it is, the Best You?
So it's so funny that you say that, because that's literally how it happened.
There it is, the Best You. I'm having the best dream, now I got the Best You.
That's literally what happened, though. That is hilarious. So I literally had a dream. Now, this was actually while I was still married. So I remember I woke up, the dream was so clear. I was purchasing the domain name in my dream. And in the dream, I was like, it has to be .net. And so I was like, what is the best you mean? So, I mean, I'm a dreamer, you know, I'm a spiritual, I'm a Christian person. So I take those things serious. You know, I believe, you know, God does speak to us through dreams. So I wrote it down. And from there, I was like, okay. And over time, the message behind it evolved.
Right.
So while I was actually married, 2017, I started my blog initially.
Right.
And that was just me blogging, me writing, me sharing the message about discovering the best you and just healing, purpose, identity, those sort of topics. And it was later that year, 2017, was when actually my world blew up and I started going through my divorce. But yeah, literally that's how it happened. It was a dream. I wrote it down and I was like, okay, this is my baby. Like I knew this was from heaven. I knew God dropped this in my spirit. So
definitely.
Yeah.
So okay. So do you find it hard to date after that?
We're gonna go there, huh?
Overseas on that. Get right into it.
All right, here we go. Yeah, so after my divorce, because since I was 14 years old, since Aleida's been started dating, there's always been somebody that wanted Aleida's attention, right? So even if it wasn't romantic, even if it wasn't sexual, there was always somebody I could talk to, somebody that would want to take me out. So again, I've just always been in relationships. So after my divorce, it kind of just seemed like a natural thing. I reconnected with somebody from my past, and it was toxic. It was toxic.
Yeah.
It probably would have been worse than my marriage. So like I said, I started going to counseling with the initial woman that me and my ex, we had one session with. And then after that, I took a little bit of break because I was like, I'm not spending these coins. And so in between the time before I started seeing somebody else, there was that short span of dating with this person, if you want to call it that. And yeah, it would have been bad. It was bad.
And that's the crazy part. And that's the crazy thing about it, because dating is so different now. Dating is different. Like, it is so different. Dating now has turned into DMs and it has and if you like yeah
oh my god,
because y'all get it, because that's one thing I can't say, because some of us, like, I'm not gonna put us in that category because we G's. So I ain't gonna put it because I'm good. But some of the messages that I see and some that I've seen, because even when me and my fiance got together, man, this one guy, like, he sent a message. It was a video of him.
No.
And she sent this to me.
Nasty.
She sent this to me, and I told y'all what I do.
What'd you do?
Well, this is what I do. Well, I told you what I do.
Oh, I see.
So what I did was, I got this. I said a word, and I go on his page, and he got kids and stuff on there. I was like,
nasty.
I said, I got this. I sent a message back to him so fast. I said, "Excuse me, sir. You have kids and stuff on your Facebook page and stuff like that." I said, your life is about to get real difficult. That was the last time I seen him. He should have just erased his page. Just erase. I still know his name.
That's so disrespectful, though.
Yeah, because you don't know, because it's illegal. What was done? It's illegal, and you can get in trouble for all this stuff. So, and not to mention me and my girl, and you, out of all the girls in the world,
right?
This one,
you gonna come for me?
Okay, I got you. I got you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah. I got you. I'm gonna make sure you're straight. I'm gonna make sure you're straight and get on your way. But yeah. So it's because, like, now are you particular about how you date, or is it one of those, like, I'm sure you probably are.
Yes, very. As I grow in myself and grow in self-love, like, my tolerance is very low. My standards are much higher.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying me time. I'm enjoying getting to know Aleida. I'm enjoying dating myself, becoming my best self. So I can attract the best person for me. So yeah, now things that I think I wouldn't have recognized as wrong or disrespectful or demeaning or devaluing or when I was younger. Now I'm so quick, like, boy, bye.
That's dead.
Boy, bye. Yeah, I don't have time for it.
Yeah, seriously. So
I don't have time for
but
it.
but like I said, dating has become. It's just. It done turn into DMs, and then you find out that you all married and got a whole nother family over there on the west side.
Yeah,
whole nother family, and
it's just situationships. I don't think people know how to really date anymore. No. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of messy out here. It's kind of messy.
That's that was my thing. It's like, even when we first got together, I was like, I need to know everything. I can find out, but I need to know everything point because you don't really owe me that.
Yeah.
But I need to know everything from A to Z, because what happens is the moment you start being happy, the moment you start moving, the moment you start even looking like everything, that's when all of I call them distractions. They come. All these distractions. Hey, big head. That's a good one. You get the hey, big head text. Or
that I miss you.
I miss you. Girl, you stop. It's been 3 years. Girl, you stop hitting me up. Ninja. You know what I'm saying? I told you, I have seen it all. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And I've just been blessed with someone who's like, I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to take here.
And that's how I am. Transparency, and I realize vulnerability. That is core values of mine. But I feel like it could also get you in trouble when you're dealing with a toxic, manipulative person.
Right.
So you're just sharing your life and you're being open and honest, and they taking all this information in, like, okay, this is how I'm gonna get her, and this is how I'm gonna play the part. And then as soon as they lock you in and got you, in there emotionally tied, then their real colors came out. And so it's kind of, I know that's important. I think intimacy or vulnerability and transparency is what equates to intimacy,
right? True
intimacy, but it's a little scary out here. Yeah, and I think one big lesson that I've learned through all of this is not to rush.
Right.
Just to take your time and really get to know someone. Like, this is not a race, because a lot of times we're comparing ourselves to our friends, so-and-so, everybody else married in relationships. And so it's not a rush. Just really take your time and get to know someone. And I feel like that's been my number one mistake, throughout everything, is not really getting to know someone and taking the time to do that.
And that's the crazy thing about it, too, is because there's no rush, yet there's no timetable either. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can meet somebody in January and y'all date for 3 months and it worked for forever.
I've seen it.
And that's what's crazy, because there's no rush. Yeah, but you're right. There's no rush. Like, man, we ain't got to rush to go on that. We ain't got to rush to do this. We ain't got to rush to do that. But then there's no rush. But then there's no timetable either, because some people look at it.
That's true.
Some people look at it like Russian, because because I tell them, man, I ain't from Russia, so I ain't Russian. Okay, and
that's funny.
And then a lot of times too, like you said, I mean, you see somebody's true colors. I mean, one minute you, man, you Billy D. Williams, and then as soon as we get married, man, you missed it from the color purple. What? How did that happen? That's when your hand do this. How did that happen? How did that happen? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like I said, dating is like you said, it's scary, because you gotta watch who you entertain.
Yeah.
All that stuff. It's just it's a headache. That's why when you find the real one, you gotta hold on to that person. Like, man, yeah, we finna because now it's like I'm to the age now. I'm like, okay, are we gonna do this or we not?
Yeah.
I need to know everything too. I need to know everything. I look your background up.
Next time I'm gonna call you and I'm gonna be like, look. Do they pass the test? Because
He's like, yeah, that's a 6, not a 9. That's a 6. yeah. I need the date of birth. Yeah, that's a 6.
But how many kids do they really have, sir? No, yeah.
I mean, okay. Let me ask you this question. Let's flip the script.
Okay.
What do you think about Women proposing to men.
Okay, so like I said, I don't really like traditional stuff in a lot of ways, but that's kind of one thing that I don't know. I don't think personally I could rock with it. I can't see me doing that.
You want married?
No.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, it's a little backwards for me.
Yeah.
It's a little backwards for me. I can't see me doing that now.
There are certain things I get millennial. I get like, because everything needs to change. Everything needs to.
Things
I
evolve.
get that part.
Yeah.
I get, from music to dancing.
Right.
I get it. But certain things you gotta keep it traditional.
Yeah.
There's certain things
that's
you can't
one where
redo.
I be like, nah, because if you leading, I feel like men are supposed to lead in a relationship, in a marriage, especially. So if you're proposing, are you going to be, leading the strip the whole relationship,
Right.
And to me that's just back. It feels a little backwards.
Yeah, there's certain things you can't redo. You can't redo Boys in the Hood. You can't redo New Jack City. There's certain things you just Footloose. You can't redo certain men in society. You can't redo it.
Right.
Don't be trying to put this. No.
Yeah.
Look here. You gotta give me look here. Look. You gotta give him that finger. Look. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, but definitely. So tell us, what is the biggest misconception people have about you?
That's a good question.
I gotta thinking, y'all.
Yeah, you do. You got me thinking. Biggest misconception. I think, okay, how do I put it? It's in my mind. I have to articulate what I'm thinking. So I think, okay, so there was a while I was a first lady. Okay. So I was a first lady for a while. So about a good 5 years. And so I'm not from Chicago. So people know me as the first lady, or the Christian woman. And I'm really, as I'm coming into my identity and my purpose, I'm kind of balancing out. And sometimes that could be, people might find that as like who is, like, be surprised, because I'm just balancing myself out. Like, sometimes when you're in a religious environments, because that's what it was, again, you lose yourself. And so, I was in an environment where I was shut down as a woman. Like, certain days I couldn't wear pants, I couldn't, makeup. And I like color, I like art, I like music, I like hip hop. Those are things that I like. And so now I'm coming back into that, and I think people are like, oh, okay, this is who Aleida really is, and might be a little surprised, or maybe a little confused, but hey, let's figure it out. Figure it out.
Definitely. Don't get it twisted. Just
right, don't get it twisted. I'm back. That's why I keep telling people,
exactly.
I'm back.
For the first time. I'm back for the first time. Don't get it twisted. Just because, I may be over here doing this thing, I will throw in some Tupac every now and then.
Funny enough, I was playing Tupac. Boy, you was tapping in, because I was playing Tupac this morning and on my story, for real. Yeah.
So, I don't know what it is. Even though that man's been gone for a little while, but he has this sense of just calming me down. Because I could just feel the pain. Speaking of music and Tupac, what is on your playlist?
Oh, I have some of everything. So I'll go from gospel to like Christian hip hop to hip hop. Sometimes I'll even throw a little bit of trap in there. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, right now, like specifically, and I'm a big Mario fan. That's kind of funny. So I like Mario. I'm following him on Instagram, having fun with Mario.
Shout out, Mario. I'm following you, sir.
Hi, Mario. I think you're in Chicago somewhere. You're around a lot now.
I'm liking your nice picture.
I like R&B. I like to dance. Yeah, it's pretty vast for me. So
okay,
yeah.
Now as far as your movie collection, what's the last movie you went to go see?
Oh my God, what's the last movie I went to go see? It probably was a kids movie. I don't even remember. I haven't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
Yeah,
I don't have time.
You gotta get a Fire Stick.
I do. I literally just got Netflix again. Like, what happened? We not fans of Netflix.
No. You gotta get see. Me personally, I got me a Fire Stick.
Okay.
And my Fire Stick is all blown out, so I can watch anything. I can see the episodes of Power way before they come out. I can see movies that's in the theaters. Because certain movies you have to go to the movie, you got to go to the theater to see, like
Right.
Transformers,
That's
Avengers,
movie I saw.
Avengers, stuff like that. You
That's
gotta go to, you
crazy.
gotta go there to see. But then some movies is like, man, I ain't finna go. I'm not finna risk, sneaking food into the theater. All this. I'm not saying I do that, but it's not worth it. So I got my Fire Stick. I do this. Yeah, we finna watch that tonight. Yeah, get your Fire
Yeah,
Stick.
I need that. I need that in my life.
Yeah.
What's the? Is there like another one? My brother hooked me up a couple years ago, but I think it needs to be updated. And he's in New York, so it's an A box. Yeah, I heard of that. It's kind of
You heard of
this
that?
before.
Nuh-uh.
Well, maybe it's just a New York thing because he brought it to me and it had the same features to do that, but I think it needs to be updated so it doesn't work anymore. But yeah, I need to get on it as far as movies. I really just don't have time,
Yeah.
and that's part of just the transition with everything after my divorce. I went from having a two-person home to someone to help support my daughter, where it's just me now, as a single mom, and then I work full time, and then I have my ministry responsibilities at church, and then I have my daughter. So, man, and when I get home, I'm hitting the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. The new like 1 o'clock in the morning is like 7 o'clock, 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Man, wait, that bed looking good. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
in bed like 7, 8. Like seriously, by 9 o'clock, I'm like,
I'm at the age where it takes me 3 days to watch one movie. Like I keep
me
falling
too.
asleep. Like,
Yeah, me too.
man,
It
I
be
gotta
like
start this over again.
it's like an hour and a half movie. It's like an hour and a half movie. It takes you 3 days to watch. Well, I'm like, man, if I do 30
30 minutes,
each
right?
day,
You gotta calculate.
each day, and I carry the one. Okay, yeah, I could watch 31 minutes a day. 31 minutes a day. Like, man, I'd be lucky to get 45 in that boy, but that's how we are. It's like I'm like after a
Yeah.
while, I'm just kind of like, man, I'm tired, but yeah, and back to um being mentally like abused because it's like
hmm
because we go through it too, men do, we do
Yeah.
too,
People.
because
Yeah.
like um at least I can go say everybody, but I know I did.
hmm
And it was one of those things. It's like I don't like to argue
hmm
because I felt that arguing is just you just ain't. It's like almost drinking. It's like you say a whole bunch of stuff you don't mean, or stuff that you mean you just needed to be man enough to actually say. And then it was one of those things. It was like you're a bad father. I went through all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like it's almost like you and sometimes that's almost worse than physically hitting you.
It is.
I think it's worse because you got to deal with this
Yeah.
all the time. You got to deal with your brain all the time,
'Cause
and it plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
But physically,
can
you heal up, throw a band-aid on there, whatever.
Yeah.
I walk into a door now. Okay, whatever.
Right.
But mentally, it's like that's why I took so much time to myself. You know what I'm saying?
That's powerful.
To like, because I don't want to have the next woman that I date or marry or whatever the case is to pay for
Exactly. Yeah.
unhealed anger because it sits there
Right.
like liquor. I don't drink, but it sits there like and like it just takes the smallest thing like throwing a pebble
Right.
into water and then you just
Niagara Falls.
yeah and it comes out and this person getting all of this slack for something
And
they
that's
don't
unfair.
deserve,
That's unfair. And that's really like I feel like that was the case in my marriage. Like I feel like I know, he had a lot of undealt with trauma from his childhood.
Right.
And so that's what you see. It's what you see. And that's how I feel when it comes to dating right now. Like I'm gonna work on me. I'm gonna get whole. I'm gonna discover who I am. I'm gonna walk in my purpose, do the things that I'm called to do, because I don't want to take that out on. I don't want anyone else to pay for, not even just past relationships, just my own, just the makeup and trauma that I dealt with my whole life.
Right.
I think that's unfair. And I don't. I've actually told people like I'm not ready. Let's just be friends. Let's just chill. Because I think it's unfair.
Maybe we can tonight.
What you say?
Maybe I can give you this tragedy. Friend zoned you. Pow. It's okay. Stay right there for a second. Just chill. Just keep being dope.
Just chill, yeah.
Just keep being dope. You never know, But so what unique skills do you have that actually makes you successful?
Just in life, or just in general?
Life or professional?
I think me and my transparency is one. I think people connect to story. People connect to people. People don't necessarily connect to a product or a service. They like to connect to people and stories and knowing like, hey, oh, she's real. People relate to. When I started to share my story just a little bit, now I respect my ex, and we do we co-parent, we have a daughter together, so I don't put a lot out there, but if I just share a little bit just of where I'm at and what I deal with, there's so many women, and this is what really kind of started to trigger like, oh, maybe there's something behind this, where like me too, they hit me my DMs, like all I have to say is me too. Me too, me too. And I think it's just people connect with realness. People connect with transparency. So I think that was or is a huge part of, just my success and where I'm going. I'm just a transparent, honest person. And I think that's huge, especially even in business, but just in life.
Right.
Yeah.
And in 5 years, where do you see yourself?
5 years. Oh man, there's so much I have. Like I said, I've been spending a lot of time with me. I've been getting real about where I want to go and what I want to do and my focus. And so I really want to take the best you to the next level. I actually have some things that I'm working on this year. I plan on having a store where I'm actually going to create subscription boxes.
Right.
I'm still working on a name. I don't want to put too much out there until it's all solidified and contracts and all that's finalized, but I want to take that to the next level. I want to take the best you to the next level. I see me speaking, I see me traveling, I see me clearing up some of my mess that I created with the transition from my divorce, owning some more property, owning an actual business for the best you. I would love to create like community centers or homes for women that they can go to heal, just a place of solitude, especially if they are in domestic violent relationships, that sort of thing. I see books. There's so much that I know that's gonna come. I just see me spreading the message of the best you, self-love, identity, purpose, and really taking it to the next level. Yeah,
definitely, because it's so powerful because a lot of people don't say it because it's so like not gonna say taboo, but it's so see people know why they want to sit here and want to hit a brother up. But
it's all good.
It's such powerful, like when a woman says I'm sorry. Right? To us, that's like finding a unicorn. That's like finding a Smurf on top of a unicorn. I done found Papa Smurf on top of a unicorn, y'all. Like it's look at Papa Smurf over there. It's very, 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 very powerful. Like for something like that.
It's just so freeing, just to be. I think I used to have real strong pride. Now, if you ask my teenage, early 20s boyfriend, he would probably be like, Aleida, I was probably real stubborn and prideful back then. But as you go through life and you go through trials and tribulations and things break you and you're like, man, why are we over here wasting this time? And I'm just so quick to recognize myself. Sometimes I might put up a little angst, but I see the purpose. The scripture talks about don't go down, don't let the sun go down, while you're still angry. So I'm like, okay, let me hurry up and deal with this and apologize or whatever needs to be done. And that's not even just in romantic situations now. That's just with friends, that's with my family, even with my daughter. I learned to apologize to her because sometimes we get it wrong as parents, or sometimes I might quickly say something in frustration, and I realize, okay, let me apologize to her. I'm not too too big to apologize to my daughter. So yeah,
Definitely. Now, what was I finna ask you? Um, oh, crap, it was just right on the tip of my tongue. Oh, I guess it was important, but
oh, I'm
I guess
sorry. Was that
no,
my fault? Might
no,
be my fault.
no,
I'm over here talking. I'm like,
no, it wasn't yours. Oh, that's why I want to talk. So now, when you started, I was having a conversation actually with my fiance, and it was like there is like um, a big thing about having a business and then working a job. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
A lot of people has this thing of, I'm gonna quit my job because I got my own
Tomorrow.
business, not knowing that you
I
have
wish
to.
I could. I wish I
I
could.
would give you my. You know what? I would give you not 2 weeks, but 2 hours. 2 hours, I'm out of here.
I'm
know
gone.
what I'm
I
saying?
got an idea.
Yeah, seriously.
I got an idea. I'm gone. No.
I don't know if it's gonna make any money, but I have an idea. Yes.
I wish.
Definitely. It's like I said, I mean, it's such a pleasure to have you here on Fluent Radio because it's like there are probably people out here that actually probably going through exactly what you went through.
Yeah.
And that need.
I think it's very common.
Help.
Yeah.
And don't know how to because it could be anything from physically to emotionally or both.
Spiritually, there's a lot of abuse. Yeah, there's a lot of different types of abuse.
Yeah, definitely. So it's now as far as like. So you say you were interested in writing books and stuff, right?
Oh yeah. I have a book that another one of those aha God moment. Like, ooh, this is good. Let me write this down. And you know what? It's funny. I don't want to say the title just yet. But it's good. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's gonna be great.
Because y'all see how she bring up her title. She can be dreaming about it and she'll wake up.
Oh, it's so good. And so I actually had it while I was married, and it was one of those things where I was like, what does that mean? Not knowing what I was going to go through. Mm-hmm. I had the dream. I think I wrote it down 2015 or 2014. Mm-hmm. Not knowing what I was going to go through in 2017. And then 2018, 2019, I'm like, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. Now it's so clear. And now I'm at the place. Now I have the book. Mm-hmm. I had to live it. So now I have the books that I can actually write. Yes.
So your best, those are the best. Like, seriously, that's how people like write the best songs.
Yeah.
It's about through experience. Like, I guess my big thing was like, even with Usher went through it. He wrote Confessions, and it's like, and they wound up being, suddenly, the best experience is when you go through it and then you can actually tell it. Maybe it is your perspective, but at the same time, it's like, but you got to tell your best truth. At the end of the day,
right?
You know what I'm saying. So that's how I look. But yeah, if you want to do the book thing, I think I know someone that can help you.
Talk to me, yeah.
I'm all about that, like.
Yeah, I need to. It's really been just on my heart to like set that time aside daily, to just write, and then I want to get a developmental editor to help me pull it and piece it all together because, yeah, it's probably about the book is focused on probably the last 5-6 years of my life, but a lot of it is connected to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, just my development and my psyche and how I ended up in a relationship like that or some of the decisions that I made. So there's a lot of stories that I could put into this book, and there's a lot of information as far as what I've learned. I went through the inner healing prayer school. So just a lot that I've learned about healing and just, self-love and growing. So yeah, there's so much. So a developmental editor I know can help me piece it all together and pull it together. So I definitely want to work on that this year, like 2020, 2021, like release it, so.
Cause I know me, I have scatterbrain, like, cause I got so much stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not, my like scatterbrain. I'm like, but they're all good, great ideas. Like I try to replace good with great. So you hear me, I'm gonna say great morning, whatever.
I like it.
So, but I have scatterbrain because there's so much stuff. I'm like, I got clothing line, shoe line, Now I gotta say, stop. Fluent Radio first.
Yes.
Then it's gonna create all this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what? I'm not gonna put your age out there. So what would the age of that you are at now say to when you first started dating to the 14-year-old self? What would what would you say to
we
your
talking
14?
about 20 years?
Yeah,
I don't mind
dub.
putting my age out there. I told you I'm vulnerable. Transparent.
Mm-hmm.
What would I tell myself? He ain't the one. Girl, you not in love.
Nigga,
Calm
no.
down.
Slow down.
Slow down. But I think I would just, because I guess the main thing I would tell myself is like, you're still growing.
Mm-hmm.
You're still developing as a person, as a woman. Get to know yourself. Learn to love yourself. Work on you. And it's like now, since I skipped that 20 years ago, now I'm finally doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe I could have saved a lot of wasted time, but it's okay.
Right.
Because I've learned,
Yeah.
and now I can have this testimony where I can go and help the next person. So yeah, that's it. Like, girl, it's okay.
Yeah,
He not the
seriously.
one. You not in love. Calm down. That's what I would tell her.
Just lust or
Yeah.
Yeah. No, come on now. You can't call him after a certain
Oh,
time.
man,
You can't
my
call
high
him after a
school
certain
boyfriend.
time.
My high school
something's
girlfriend.
going on.
He broke my poor heart. Oh, man. After that, I went savage for a little bit. I went savage. I did.
Y'all ain't nothing. None of y'all. Okay,
That's how mama raised me, though. She told me, like, my mama tough. Yeah, she tough. But she raised me to, like, all men are like dogs. That's how she raised me to think. And I wanted to be different. And I'm like, no. And then I got my heart crushed. And he cheated on me. And I'm like,
Here you go.
Here you go.
Here you
And
go.
then I have older brothers. I'm the baby. And so my mom used to always tell me, she used to say, watch your brothers. Watch your brothers.
Okay.
Watch your brothers. And I used to watch them. And I'd be like, man, they out here disrespectful to these women. I'm like, it ain't going to be me. So I thought I was going to be the savage one. And then I grew up a little bit around like college. I got into like a serious relationship. But again, it was all toxic. Even up until my marriage. So now I'm finally.
So how can people reach you so they can know about the best you?
Yeah, so my website is www.thebestyou.net. So I have a blog on there, so you can read articles about like growing and hearing the voice of God. That's like I've talked a little bit about that. Identity, and then I have actually a free guide that women can get on there as well on how to find yourself. I'm also on Instagram. That's like my go-to. My handle is the Best You Network. Yeah.
Did you ever find somebody else for your LinkedIn stuff or no?
Actually, I put that on there. What was that? Yesterday? Or was that today? Yesterday, I think.
One of those days.
A lot of people commented like, "Hey, check this out, check this out." Somebody actually DM'd me and said that they were volunteered to help me. So I haven't actually started yet, but yeah, I really want to get on LinkedIn because to take this to the next level, to really connect with professionals. And just doors have been opening just to speak. I was invited to host and speak for a women's event in April. I'm going to be going to Miami in March. So, yeah.
What, now as far as, you need to turn your story into like a movie or something, a TV show or something.
Come on, talk to me, man. I actually went to school for production, media production, and video. Like, that's my heart. That's my passion. But I was like behind the scenes. And because of my insecurities at the time, I always kind of shunned in front of the camera. But now I'm like, how can I combine the two? I want to combine media, the arts, and this message that I have to really reach the masses with it. So
Definitely, because we even in talks in some podcasting on Fluent Radio a little later in February, but we'll say that later, y'all. We'll say that. We'll definitely save all that later. So you were on the Simeon
Henderson show. Yeah, that was just last night. That was so much fun. It's actually supposed to release tonight at 8 p.m.
So
what time is it?
Yeah,
It's still early.
Yeah, still early. You still got a few hours. You got a few,
Yeah.
a couple of flurries out there. So by the time you get home, it's probably be 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. The suburbs
New
of
York.
Buffalo, New York. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so Amherst technically, but nobody knows where that is, so Buffalo. The shout outs to Buffalo.
I was gonna say,
Below.
Let me waze
Right
that.
near,
Let me
it's
see.
right in between Buffalo and Niagara Falls, New York.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I grew up right near one of the wonders of the world.
Okay, so so now first of all, I want to thank you.
Okay.
And I am finna to tell the world this. 1 second. I want to thank you because I've been having this thing about edges and stuff. You know, edges for your hair and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I want to thank you so much for coming here with edges. Thank you. Thank you.
I was not expecting that.
No, you wasn't.
I thought you were about to say something real serious.
No. Thank
Talk
you.
about my edges. Well, thank you.
I
Thank you. I appreciate you, sir.
No, you are appreciated. you are appreciated for coming up in here because I don't know if you red or light skinned or you look bit of both. You know,
I got a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I did my ancestry DNA. I'm just a huge.
yeah, you like a yeah. If I was to go to Dunkin' Donuts, because you would be like a mocha. I can't go to Starbucks because I need to get like Rosetta Stone just to even be in there. Seriously, I was like, well, can I just get a juice? You want to what? Yo, I just said lemon juice or orange juice, and it's named something totally different.
Right.
Dragon fruit fly and some other stuff. What?
Let's keep it simple.
Yeah. I can go to McDonald's, go get me a little carton. You know, get me a little carton orange juice, and they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
But yeah, definitely, thank you for coming here with.
This was a lot of fun. I appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation.
No problem. We definitely go see you in the future. Definitely,
Yeah,
because I think it's a few people I want you to meet.
Okay, I'm definitely
as far
down.
as because you said something about hosting too.
Oh yeah.
And then just telling your story and things like that, and we know a lot of people.
I love it.
All this. We know
I
a
love
lot
it.
of people.
I'm
Do you
coming.
have
I'm back on the scene.
Definitely.
I promise you. I'm
Crispy
back
and
on
clean.
the scene. I'm back on
Crispy
the
and
scene.
clean.
Aleida is back.
Yes.
So
what
let's
do you-
connect. Let's do it.
So what do you do? Like, do you do like? Do you know how to dance, sing, rap? What?
I wish.
None of that stuff?
Nah. Like I said, I've always been behind the scenes. I mean, I like to dance, but you know, I'm not like a trained dancer of any sort. I like music, but you don't want to hear me sing. So I've always been behind the scenes. I'm more of like the business mind behind the scenes when it comes to arts and media. That's why I went to school for media management.
Right.
But personality, that's what I do have. I have personality. Okay. So I have like hosted events. I've done modeling, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you rhythmically challenged.
Nope, that ain't true. We out here. Nope, we ain't gonna lie.
Would you know how to dance a little bit or sing a little bit? Not just shower.
I didn't
because
sing.
you know everybody. I sound good in the shower.
I ain't gonna tell you I can sing. I can't. I'm not gonna tell you I can sing.
I don't harmonize. Bone Thugs on harmony do not want.
I'm not gonna tell you that. But yeah.
But you can cut a rug.
Yeah.
A little portion.
No, we ain't gonna do that on today though.
No, because you know it's cold. You know, bones may not be working right now because I'm a choreographer.
Are you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've been dancing for like
30
years.
Have you? I would not have guessed that.
And then professionally, I've probably been doing it for like 20.
Oh, this is so fun! I got to see some of your work. Do you have like a whole dance squad team?
It was like we were in my first dance group was Mega Sweat.
Okay.
And there was a hip hop dance group. We were doing footwork and boom, boom, boom.
See, that's the Chicago,
stepping, all kinds of stuff. We were doing all these things, and then I kind of branched out and did my own thing. And then because actually the reason why I started doing hip hop dance was Shane Sparks, the one that choreographed "You Got Served." He was actually my first guest that I had.
Okay.
Wow. He was my first guest, and it was so real. He stayed like the whole. I think he stayed for the whole weekend, and we were just hanging out and stuff. I was just kind of picking his brain. He even hit me up about this dance show that he's doing. He wanted me to come choreograph and do some stuff for that.
Awesome.
So it's like riding a bike. Like you never really forget it. So it's like it's dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's always funny. Some people, choreographers, surprise me because one of my good friends, her husband is a lawyer. He wants to be a judge and a minister, but the man is a choreographer and has a whole like hip hop dance squad, and he a big guy. He be footworking it. I be like, oh.
Yeah.
I'm like, people who said they could choreographer sometimes surprise me because I just want to know thought. But that's awesome.
Because that's what because like, you know, because here it was just hip hop. And then, you know, I moved to Florida, and then I started taking ballet, and then I started taking modern,
so cool.
I started taking lyrical. But it makes you a better hip hop choreographer. You know, it makes you better. Now it's like I'm a beast. Like, I you know, because I gotta keep up. Because nowadays everybody got these done doing the nene and all that stuff. Look. That's dancing. But let me show you how we really dance. Let me show you how we really dance. You know, so let me show you how we really get down. Because this is before the nene. This is before. Don't get me wrong. I'm not on no rerun stuff either.
Right.
I'm on some like.
Oh, I gotta see this.
I gotta see this. Him. I went to So You Think You Can Dance. I did that. So it's like, don't mess with him. Just leave him alone. Don't let the gray hair. Don't let none of that stuff fool you. I would eat you up.
That's one of my favorite. One of my favorite dancers on Instagram is Kidda the Great. He was So You Think You Can Dance. He's one of my favorite. Like, I love that little kid. He be moving, and he did all that different dance throughout the show in one. But his primary is hip hop.
Definitely. That's how you become dope. That's how you become dope when you know, it's, as a dancer, like it's just what it is. So, but thank you so much for coming on to
No, thank you. This was really great. I love it.
It's gonna be a part 2. Actually, I would love to have you at the relationship roundtable that we actually gonna do.
Okay. When is
I don't know. It's still in the works. So
okay. Well, yeah. Keep me posted. Definitely let me know. I would love to.
Definitely. And thank you everyone for tuning in here to Fluid Radio. I appreciate everybody. You be safe out there. You be warm. And I will holler at y'all. Our last show is next week. So I will holler at everybody. Everybody be safe. Peace.
Bye, y'all. Yay! That went by so quick.
Yes, it was just a long conversation, y'all. We just having a long conversation. Having a long conversation.
Mess up my hair.
She alright. She's straight. I told you, she's like red. She's not brown. I don't know what.
I can't see. I'm half blind.
Yeah, so that's everybody.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah, that's everybody.
I hate to say it, when people we had a guest a couple of days ago, she was like, "I'm 1/4 that bit of Polish, Spaniard, Italian." I'm like, you a mutt. Like,
I was gonna say that I'm a mutt, but
that's a mutt.
I really am. I'm 19 different ethnicities with my ancestry DNA. That's what they told me. I said, what? I even had 2% Asian. Where'd that come from?
Thank you, y'all, for tuning in to the radio. Appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. This is our lovely guest today.
Oh, I'm still on camera. Hello.
Yes, I just switched it around now. And like I said before, everyone just be safe, and I will see everybody next week. Peace.